signs of cultural competency in that kind of reform and growth that you've had?
I think that's tough because coming from Case, when it comes to like we recruit anyone and we foster any type of individuality, but it's just tough because Case, I feel like there's only so much culture in here. I mean, there's a lot all over the place, but there's like majorities of each, so it's hard to like get cultural competency with just your brothers in your fraternity. We need to strive outside of that. I mean, I don't know exactly what I'm getting at here, but
I agree. I think this is, this is a whole chapter about the process, right?
Yeah.
I think that is really our hit home point or something to grow off of, besides the ones we already talked about. I really saw that from our interview when we talked about it, growing in this whole cultural competency. Like we believe in different temperaments, talents, and convictions, and we really get diverse people, but really learning about their culture and realizing what they come from is good too. But it kind of comes out in the ritual for being such an open space. It's very difficult to talk about because it's so secret, but it can come out in that way, being so open, being so free to really open up. But definitely it's a huge point of improvement, I guess.
I think going off the great changes you've been able to make, I think part of the reason why you were able to create some buy-in was because you kind of had to, right? Like there were some sanctions that you either imposed
It was
yourself,
definitely a do or die situation.
Yeah.
You're at the point of no return.
So I was wondering, how are you planning on keeping that going and keep? Because I think at this point you're at a pretty good place, right?
Yeah.
So how can you keep that buy-in? How can you make sure new members understand the growth that you've had and where you want to go?
That comes from the whole our whole pledge process. They have 8 weeks to get acquainted with our chapter and kind of how we operate, and definitely recruitment coming from where you start realizing what we're doing and getting that mentality and not trying to like form them into brothers. Is basically you can be yourself, but like make sure we stick to this.
I think a lot of it's
mindset.
make sure we're not just a social fraternity, and some people think that when they join fraternities, but that's one major learning point we're trying to hit on now is that we're not just a social fraternity.
There's a lot more that you can get out of it.
Involved.
Right. I mean, new members is pretty much the key point. Because the older brothers have went through it, and now they have it from growing and learning in that process. So I'd say definitely it's from the whole new member process.
I think I have one more. How would you define what it means to be like the ideal community member? Like, what are they made up of? What does it look like?
In terms of a chapter, or just
in terms of
an individual?
In general, like it could be a campus community, it can be the Cleveland community, but like if you're thinking of the ideal community member, kind of like what are the aspects of that?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So kind of something that.
I mean, it's kind of like that broad question, broad response almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need you to give me like specifics, but I was wondering like your philosophy behind being a community member and what that looks like for you and the average member.
Understanding of everyone in the community, and if they don't understand, willingness to understand. So kind of like that ability to
understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it, or having a purpose for what you're doing. You can tell them, hey, like you go to Case, you're really smart, go tutor these kids and come back. But you can really see a point, and then you get really involved in the process. You really take charge in what you're doing, having some kind of purpose or reason to what you're doing. So I'd say that's definitely an important part, and just being invested in the whole process, having some reason to do this, being involved in the community.
not just going through the motions, actually.
Anything else? Cool. Thank you. This was great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.